Mainstream media's most prominent fact-checkers are staying silent after Vice President Harris claims the new administration started from scratch on a vaccine rollout. Harris making the remarks during a recent Axios interview, contradicting what Dr. Anthony Fauci said on the very same subject just last month.
There was no national strategy or plan for vaccinations. In many ways, we're starting from scratch on something that's been raging for almost an entire year.
Is the Biden administration starting from scratch with the vaccine distribution effort?
No, I mean, we certainly are not starting from scratch because there is activity going on in the distribution.
Alyssa Farah was White House Communications Director in the Trump administration and joins us now. Alyssa, you have tweeted out that this is an absolute myth, what we have heard from Vice President Harris. What is your message based on what you saw and what you know about the entire plan the White House deployed all along?
Well, Sandra, thanks for having me. I mean, this is just false. Not only did we have a vaccine plan in place, we put the Biden administration on track to be able to meet their own goal of 100 million vaccines in the first 100 days. So when I left the Trump White House back in December, we were doing about 1.1 million vaccinations a day. But I would say this to Vice President Harris, this is an insult to the hundreds of not just political appointees, but career officials who have been working since last year tirelessly around the clock to try to safely get an effective vaccine to market. And I'd also note, I mean, the Biden administration talks about unity. They want to bring those who supported Trump along with those that had supported President Biden. Well, then don't insult the work of the previous administration. As a nation, we should be proud of what the Trump administration was able to do to get us where we are on the vaccine. And the Biden folks should just try to build on that success.
And you look at the bottom of our screen, we have been scrolling facts, the millions of vaccines that were distributed under the Trump administration. Even one of those was noting how many on former President Trump's final day in office. So Dr. Fauci was talking about the current administration continuing what the former administration already had in place. Somehow Kamala Harris sees it totally differently. Why?
Oh, absolutely. And Dr. Fauci knows this well. He was in the room for these meetings, and we did a Rose Garden event last May with the Trump administration, HHS officials, the military announcing Operation Warp Speed in our race to get a safe and effective vaccine in record time. And we met that goal. So we should be celebrating as a country that we are where we are today. We could do better. There's more to be done. But this is just divisive. The Biden administration doesn't want to give any credit to their predecessors, and it's disappointing.
And a reminder that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were the ones during the campaign calling for the Trump administration to leave politics out of it. And one would point out that there's a lot of politics at play when you hear something like that, knowing the facts. I will finish off with a question about the Beijing Olympics. Michael Waltz has come out and he is calling for a boycott of that happening in 2022. Listen to this.
The Chinese Communist Party has unleashed the coronavirus on the world. They covered it up. Millions are dead. And now they are literally torturing and enslaving millions from their own populace. How can we then reward the Chinese Communist Party with the Olympics, which is meant to pull the country, the globe together in peace? How can we do that?
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I couldn't agree more with Congressman Waltz, who's a great man, served our country in uniform. Listen, the CCP lied to the world, withheld crucial information that cost countless millions of lives. And on top of that, they're also one of the world's greatest human rights abusers to their own people. So why we would reward them with this sort of symbolic, important gesture for the whole world of hosting the Olympics, it sends completely the wrong message after how they behaved during coronavirus. So I'd strongly support that, and I would keep your eyes on if it gets bipartisan support, because I think it could.
Very interesting. Alyssa Farah, thanks for joining us.